bit of a thunder boomer come through. I had to shut everything down over here in the den. But something, I ran into an experience over, I'd say about the last week and a half, that I thought that you should know about. It pertains to a medication drug life, whether that be a half-life, whether that be a shelf life, or efficacy, and there's a myriad of different things. However, something I found, I don't know, woke me the fuck up. Wake up, motherfuckers. Funny little story. Follow me if you will. Oh boy, I guess it was week before last. I have to cath several times at night. And something I was finding is that I ended up having a spastic bladder. You know, I think we've all been down that road. At least anybody that's in the quadriplegic community that deals with urinary tract infections. One of the first signs is a spastic bladder. Typically that follows with cloudy urine, and there's very distinct, like like a heavy urine smell, almost like ammonia or something like that. But I was like, what the fuck is this? I had spastic bladder, but I noticed none of the other signs were showing. No cloudy urine, no smell, no, no nothing. And even the spastic bladder was strange in and of itself. So my first thought was that I had a UTI, which was rather unusual for me. It's been quite some time since I had a UTI. I often use, if I had the first sign, and this is the first thing I did after I discovered the whole spastic bladder, I started drinking the tea and everything, and I noticed that, after the tea and everything else, my urine was extremely clear. There was no additional froth. There was no other signs. I was like, what the hell is this? And I started thinking about it. And I don't know what meds you do for spastic bladder or whatever spasms you may have. We'll go over. There's a list of different antispasmodics that I've noticed and I've taken, note on and stuff like that. And then I gave some thinking about how I deal with my meds. Now, a lot of times I'll take either one or two a day. more times than not one. But I do get a 30-day supply for 2 doses a day. But I've been trying to get off them. But regardless of that, what I've been doing for quite some time is I'll just have a pill bottle. And when I get a new thing of oxybutynin is what I take, I just sort of dump them on top of the other ones. Never gave it two seconds thought. Now, I had done this a few times. Now, we're probably going... At the point I noticed the problem, I decided to actually take a new bottle, put it over in a cabinet or something like that. Thought nothing about it. I was like, let me finish this bottle first. Now, I'm guessing we're probably going into about 90 days of medication that I finally got into. The meds that I started taking were about 90 days old. No thought to it whatsoever. Never had a problem like this before. But I noticed I had maybe like 8 or 10 pills left. And the night in question, I was like, what the hell is that? And I was like, all right, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Because every now and then shit just happens. So, next day, same thing. Took, my normal dosage. And once again, spastic bladder at night. Third day, I was like, oh, what the fuck? Now, you got to understand, I'm also drinking the tea. I've upped the medicated lubrication that I've made with the eucalyptus oil. And like I said, I haven't had a UTI in the better part of 5 years. Now, is it unusual to get one regardless of that? Yeah, of course it is. Shit happens. Anyway, I noticed I had a bladder spasm that day. And I was like, what the fuck? And I just thought to myself, I was like, is it possible that this medication has a shelf life? Never even thought about it before. Well, lo and behold, it turns out that typically your medication, as far as the oxybutynin that I was taking, seems to have a shelf life, an efficacy rate, if you will, of 30 to 60 days. Now, 30 days, I think that's sort of, call it quits a little too early for me. But 60 days, all right, that's possible. Maybe that's, contact with the air or something like that. I don't know. I never really thought about the shelf life of medication. Well, lo and behold, after the third day, I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, maybe, just maybe. And I grabbed, and that night I took my meds from the new bottle, which was only maybe about a week old. And lo and behold, just like a fucking miracle, no more problem. No more fucking problem. That quickly. Like I said, then I realized after doing a little bit of deep dive and shit like that online and stuff like that, that the medication had a shelf life of about 60 days. 30 to 60 days. Like I say, 30 is a little unusual. 60, not a shocker. But, I was probably taking meds that were about 90 days old, which equates to about 3 months. And then I started thinking, I wonder if this is something that happens to all spasmodic medication. Well, lo and behold, here are my results. You tell me. allow me to finish with this. Once again, a lot of the shit that I do, don't do, or whatever it might be, that's my experience. I'm not here to tell you what to do with your experience. I never tell anybody. I will never tell anybody. And I certainly will. What the fuck is that? All I do is explain and try to put together experiences that I have had that perhaps maybe they would be noteworthy to you. If you agree with it, that's great. If you don't, well, that's great. Because let me look into my bag of fucks. I don't have any gives a shit. So you do what you're going to do. And God willing, you will learn through my mistakes, which there are so fucking many. I fuck things up from the day from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep. Everything is a learning experience. However, what you do with my videos, because obviously nobody really watches this shit, so let me look into my bag of fucks again. I don't care. I have been chronicling and just making these videos on my progress or the information that I have to deal with myself, and I refer to them from time to time. I wish you all the best. Peace out. And by all means, understand this. The life you save will be your own. Howdy, bitches.